Hello folks, today I'm going to be taking a look at two new figures for Archon Studio's upcoming board game, the Plains of Eternia, and that is Skeletor and He-Man. Okay, so first off we're going to be taking a look at He-Man and Battle Cat. So, you can see the box for the Masters of the Universe Fields of Eternia game. Some images on the rear, you get He-Man on Battle Cat and a character card. Not for onions 0 to 3. So taking a look at the miniature. It's a rather dramatic pose for He-Man and Cringer there. Leaping forward, smashing rocks out of the way. Awful lot of detail on it. It is pre-assembled. You can see where obviously the saddle strap there has been added. I think the shield is possibly separate as well, and it's been glued in. It's nicely done. Mold line wise, slight mold line towards the rear of the saddle. One on the back of the armour of Battle Cat, but for a board game piece it's more than good enough. I think people looking to pick this up to paint it themselves may want to do a bit of clean-up work to finish it off. But things like the look of Adam, the musculature is very well done. He has this sword of power, which apparently in this TV series was called the Sword of He, which is why he's He-Man. Go figure. I never watched this one. I watched the earlier one from the 80s. But if you are a fan of He-Man, you also get his card. So when you're playing the board game, having this version will allow you the Battle Cat mount, increasing movement and battle effectiveness. And then you get a bit of text about where Cringer comes from. On a completely unrelated note, I discovered that He-Man was called Musclor in France, and I think Musclor fighting Skeletor is so much better. Now, these are described as 32mm miniatures. From base to head, He-Man is, what would we say there, 50mm well mounted. It is a board game piece, so I don't know if all of the miniatures are going to be sculpted to this size, or if this is a slightly smaller, scaled down version, so that it can still be played on the board. My initial guess would be that the mount versions will be slightly scaled down, but we won't know until they actually come to Kickstarter with the board game, I suppose. So that's Musclor. Next up is his adversary, and or uncle, depending on choice of cartoon, Skeletor on Panther. Again, because this is the Masters of the Universe, the 2000 edition of the cartoon, he has this unusual hat that he didn't have originally. And again, Skeletor and Panther with a character card. So, having a look at Panther, very different pose from He-Man, more sort of prowling, bit of something under the tail would need to be cleaned up. That's obviously where it's come off the sprue. The material is Archon's, it's not quite a hard plastic, it feels like a version of a hard resin. So there is not much flex to it, although there is a bit of flex, as I try not to break a horn. Again, detailing is great on this, bar that hat. Maybe I'm just too much of an 80s child. I don't like the hat. Mattel, why did you put a hat on him with weird ram's horns? You make no sense, Mattel, you make no sense. He also has a sword of power, looking not dissimilar to He-Man's Sword of He, and his more typical skeletal staff. And he's one step away from conquering the whole Plains of Eternia there, from the looks of that fist pump pose. He also comes with a character card. And again, for use in the Fields of Eternia board game, he will gain access to the Panther mount, increasing battle effectiveness. And we get a bit of a text there about how exiled Prince Keldor rescued a young Dylynx cub. So it's a Dylynx cub, different from Cringer. Just in case people are wondering what's on the reverse. Castle Grayskull's on the reverse. So, He-Man against Skeletor. They are very nice models from a 80s nostalgia painting point of view. I think a lot of people may want to pick these up even if they don't feel like going for the whole board game in the end. Just to sit on a shelf squaring off against each other. They're absolutely beautiful. Alright, there we have it. Very nice sculpts, even if Skeletor's steed does have some sort of unusual headwear. It should be interesting in the game, which is due to go to Kickstarter in the first quarter of 2021. However, if you're after these, either for a painting project or just to get a head start on the board game, you can pick them up from Archon Studios right now.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.